Glory, glory to the eternal, forever living God. Blessed be the day that the Lord has given us. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters across the very face of the earth. It is your brother Jehoshaphat Israel here in the house that God has made. Glory, glory to the eternal, forever living God. Now, family, we got story. We got story tonight. Then we got topic. But as we look at all these things, we're going to look at how the past will always affect the future. And if you don't know the rules that's already been put over you, you know what I'm saying? The rules, because you can't change none of this stuff. You can't change it. You either poor or you rich, you either dead or you alive, you either happy or you sad. You know what I'm saying? We have these principles of laws that's already on us. You either smart or you are stupid. It is either day or it is night. You either happy or you are sad. One or the other. There is no other in the world that we live in, but we have to understand the principles of the forces that God has already put in the earth. Man can say whatever the hell it want to say, but man itself, I don't care how smart, how old, how industrious it get, it'll never be able to change the principles that God has already placed down on the earth. Now let's look at this before we get into topic. Okay, Adam and Eve were the first men and women created by God. They lived in the paradise of the Garden of Eden. After succumbing to temptation, they were expelled from the garden, introducing sin and hardship to humanity. God formed the first man, Adam, from the dust of the earth and breathed life into him. God placed Adam in the lush garden of Eden to tread it and to give him the task of naming all the animals. To cure Adam's loneliness, God caused him to fall into a deep sleep and created the first woman, Eve, using one of Adam's rib. The couple lived in perfect harmony, enjoying the garden abundance and walking with God without shame. Okay. God gave Adam and Eve only one rule. They could eat from any tree in the garden except, hold up, let me change my pickup. Hold on, family. Got to work with your brother. Okay, where was I? God gave Adam and Eve only one rule. They could eat from any tree in the garden except for the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which would result in death. However, a cunning serpent approached Eve and tempted her to eat the forbidden fruit, suggesting that it would make them like God. Eve ate the fruit and gave some to Adam, who also ate it. Immediately, their eyes were opened, and they realized that they were naked, feeling shame and sewing fig leaves together to cover themselves. When God called out of them, they hid in fear. Upon realizing they had disobeyed, God pronounced consequences for all that was involved. Now, these are the curses, right, that are naturally on a man or a woman, just naturally. Okay, the serpent was cursed to crawl on its belly. Eve was told her pain in childbirth would increase and that her husband would rule over her. Okay, Adam was told that the ground would be cursed, forcing him to perform painful, difficult labor to produce food until his eternal return into dust. So naturally, a man, these are the rules that's on a man. If a man don't work, a man don't eat, a man is already cursed because he got to work. Any man that's not willing to work, he ain't gonna have nothing. A man is already cursed to go to work. That is for man disobeying God. Got to remember, this ties into the bloodline of all humanity. Every man is affected. Man is cursed to work, to till the, what did it say? Let's go back. Adam was told that the ground would be cursed, forcing him to perform painful, difficult labor to produce food until he eventually returned to dust. So a man is supposed to work from the sweat of his brow to the day that he died to get the things that he want. If a man don't have nothing, a man is already cursed. A lot of you sisters, y'all out there, and y'all don't understand that a man is cursed to work. Working brings more life to a man. Working assures that the man gets every single thing that he ever wanted in life, but a man is cursed. What is the curses of Eve? And this falls on the head of every single woman that lives and breathes in any time zone, in any place and time in the regions of the earth, anywhere. It don't matter. Okay, Eve was told her pain in childbearing would increase and that her husband would rule over her. So any woman that doesn't have a man ruling over her, she's going to have a harder life. Automatically. It's already been put in the elements that nobody can change. As you look at a woman, not really any other animal feels pain in childbirth besides from a woman. You know, animals have babies all the time. You know, you look at a horse will have a baby. She will not cry. She won't scream. She'll plop that horse out. The horse will be walking in like 5 minutes. I kid you not. So a woman is automatically cursed. She cannot change the principal structures of powers of elements that God has already placed on mankind. Mankind is cursed. A woman is cursed to serve a man. That's part of the curses. You women, you would like to get out of that, but you can never get out of that. If you don't have a man in your life, you're going to have a harder life. You're going to feel pain in childbirth. And they be like, well, you know, Jehoshaphat, I take the medicines and I get all the shots and all of that. That only takes a portion of the pain away. God has promised a woman pain in childbirth. To the man, a man is cursed to work I can't say every day, because a man shall work 6 days and on the seventh day he shall rest. But for the majority of his life, a man got to work to get it. So when you see a man and he doesn't have anything, he's already cursed. So he's just intensifying the curses. You see men living off of women, they curse. Men that don't want to work, curse. Men that don't take their life serious, curse. Men that sit up there to get locked up in and out of jail, cursed. A man is already cursed to labor, to work all the days of his life. If Adam never disobeyed God in the garden, man would not have to work until the ground and then return back to the ground. You know what I'm saying? When Adam and Eve, when they left the Garden of Eden, they were so damn sad. They were so damn distraught that they sit at the borders of the Garden of Eden and they cried for 7 whole days. They sit up there and they mourn being kicked out of the Garden of Eden, because it was like heaven on earth. And then they have to go out into the world and actually feel their body decaying, because they were given perfect bodies. They had to feel dying. At this point, people are used to growing old and dying. They're used to it. But Adam and Eve, they were not. Now, I had to say all these things to set the backdrop, because the future is always affected by the past. Whatever happened in the past affects the future. And that's where we are now. So now we can look at it.
Tumia nini? Hatutarudi kwenda. Bado.
Sasa Adam. Tunaweza piga sasa hivi.
So as we look at men, you know what I'm saying? This is why your brother always say that a man is not supposed to give in to a woman, because the woman is also, she's automatically the weaker vessel. When a man gives into his woman fully like that, that's when he brings condemnation. That's when he brings sin, suffering upon his head, because he is supposed to rule. A lot of females will never agree with that. A lot of females hate God because God said that they would have a man rule over them. So I'm not expecting a lot of women out there to submit to a man, because they would have to submit to God first. They would actually have to sit up there. It's already a curse over a man and a woman. And if you don't be in compliance to those curses, if you don't recognize them, if you don't understand what they are, you're going to have a harder life. And as you look at the majority of women nowadays in 2026, this is why they have a hard life, because they do not want to submit to a man. Then they submit to all the wrong men. All of the wrong men that I mentioned that are already cursed. Man is already cursed. And they messing with all these men that don't have no ambitions on getting out and doing anything out in life. So they double their pain. You know what I'm saying? They double their suffering. They double their pain in life, because a man is automatically, he's already cursed. You know what I'm saying? He already cursed. He got to work. If the man is not working, it robs from the life force of his life automatically. Start deteriorating. He's not as big. He's not as strong. None of that stuff, because he's not working. He's going to return back into the dust. But it brings on condemnation through curses that the man and the woman have to deal with together, because the man is not working. He is already cursed.
Women are the serpent. Why do
My bad.
you think
Let's hear the sister all the way fully out. My bad.
women are the new serpents? Hear me out. So, what do you mean that women are the new serpent? Why do you think sex sells? Why do you think there's more sex ads that men can't seem to get around? Every social media platform, every commercial, every magazine, there's a woman who's half naked. There's women that are overly sexualizing their body parts, right? Not saying that men don't, but it is more women, so that they can beguile men, because Satan knows that when the man is charmed and seduced out of his place.
Now, let me stop my sister real quick. My brothers in relationships that have marriages, you have to understand that the devil will always go after your wife. Always. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if she's holy. Doesn't matter if she got herself together. Doesn't matter if she a good person. The devil will always go after your wife. So you gotta fast and prayer. With the only way to defeat the devil in your marriage, y'all gotta come together as one through fasting and prayer. It's a beautiful thing, family. My brothers out there, my brothers and my sisters, it is a beautiful thing when you can pray with your woman, the woman you love, about protection, about healing, about provision over y'all life. To pray with the woman that you love. That is a powerful thing that the devil don't like seeing. It's like putting a seal over you and your babies and your husband and your wife and your family. You put up a whole golden dome over your damn house when you are willing to fast and to pray and to refrain from sex and then come back together as one. That all the fiery darts that come out the pit of hell that will be sent your way, you will be shielded and you will be protected from all of these things. If you are willing as a man to get down on your knees and pray with your woman. They sit up there and they say, well, you know, all men are cheaters. That's a damn lie from the pit of hell itself. And not all men are cheaters like that. Only dogs are cheaters. So you women can't say that. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of good brothers. My brothers out there, it's a lot of us. It is. We've been trained to love a woman the way that you want to. It's just that we love all the wrong women. And we love women in modern day that just do us. They just dog us. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not used to a good man that already has ethics, morals, and principles. That have a foundation of a settlement of holiness that's already under their feet. They can't handle stuff like that. They can't. But my brothers, you have to understand that the woman is the weaker vessel. The devil will always go after you. When he wants to destroy a relationship, when he wants to destroy a marriage, when he wants to break apart the family, he gonna go. This is why men stay in relationships for so long. This is why men don't initiate. Remember, the past will always affect the future. The laws that God has already cultivated into the land for man to acknowledge, there is nothing that you can do to change that. So the devil, he'll always go after the woman first to destroy the marriage, to destroy the father, to destroy the children. He has to aim his war weaponry at the woman, always. This is why statistics show that the man being unhappy will still stay into the marriage until the day that he died, unless the woman initiates the divorce. This is why the past will always affect the future. The laws, the principles, the statutes of creation that God has laid for the foundation of man to have to deal with will always be in this earth. You're either rich or you're poor. You're either dead or you're alive. You're either cold or you're hot. You're either smart or you're dumb. You're either healed or you're sick. There is no in between in these principles of forces of light and darkness. You know what I'm saying? It's either cold outside or it's hot. It's either morning time or it's night. You know what I'm saying? These are the principles. He said that life and death is already in us. We have the power to create, but we also have the power to destroy. We have the power to live, and we also have the power to die. There is nothing else in this world that a man will have to deal with. Nothing else. They can sit up here and talk about flying to the damn moon and the Mars. Doesn't matter. They can sit up here and talk about Loch Ness monsters. Doesn't matter. They can sit up here and talk about every ghoul and troll under a damn bridge and a damn Dracula. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. But what does matter in the world that we live in, either you're dead or you're alive. You're either sick or you're healed. You're either poor or you're rich. You're either cold or you hot. You either feel good or you mad as hell. It's either light outside or it's darkness. You're either rich or you poor. You're either smart or you're dumb. These are the principles of forces that can never be changed because God has laid them into the foundation of life, of existence for a man or a woman. But I'm almost done here. Let's continue.
Of right standing with God, there goes the kingdom. So he used one of the most important persons to relationship. That is the woman. Carry on. Her main purpose of even being created was to be a helpmate, to help serve in the purpose of that man, so that they can be divinely aligned with God.
And remember, ladies, all my sisters out there, it'll always be 5149. When you talking to a real man and you looking at a real man and you want to know how a real man think, I don't know if you get mad or anything like that, but that's none of my concern because that's your fight with God. Women have been fighting God forever. You know what I'm saying? Forever. And now we at the point to where a woman will hate God and turn her back on God because of the 5149. A real man is going to give you that 49% control. But I'm going to let you know right now, I'll always have 51. I'll always be the head. I'll always be 51% in control of all of it. That 49%, I'm going to respect the hell out of that. I'm going to listen to my woman. I'm going to honor her. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to honor that woman. I'm going to respect and I'm going to love her. But she can only have 49% of the kingdom. To a true man, it'll always be 51-49. A lot of females will hate me for saying that. Sister, continue.
Fulfilling his purpose for that relationship, for that covenant. Amen. But when a woman is over-sexualized, seductive, and beguiling the men, oh, she's helping. But it's not helping from a God perspective. She's under the influence of Satan, the serpent, helping him to get out of his place of divine alignment over into pornography, perversion, idolatry, addictions. Because once a man has been beguiled by sexual immorality, perversion, it distorts his focus. It distorts his purpose and his vision. It's no longer aligned with God, but more so with his flesh. It distorts his purpose and his vision for relationships.
A lot of people will get mad at God, but if you was peeping what she was saying, the only reasons why we are all sinners, I don't care how good you are, I don't care how good that you are to God, you will always be a sinner because you wrapped up in this flesh. Until the day of your judgment, you leaving this body, you'll always be a sinner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they beat up themselves, but then a lot of people fall into sin and they don't want to change. It is our job to fight against the temptation, against the lust, against the cravings of our body. You can look at your body as a separate side of yourself. Your body wants to do all these things before it returns back into the dust. So you can look at your body, your flesh, which is a sinner. It's not you, but you're still in it. You know what I'm saying? You still in it. That's what makes you a sinner. Your flesh. A lot of people will never understand that concept of why they're a sinner. Oh, Jehoshaphat, I do so good. You know, Jehoshaphat, I don't be lying. I don't be cheating. I don't do none of that stuff either, but I'm still a sinner. Why am I a sinner? Because I am wrapped up in this flesh, and this flesh is its own deity. It has its own wants, its own cravings, and its own desires. But a lot of people will always get mad at God over that. They'll never take out the time to understand what he is saying to us all, and they'll always point the finger at him as if he's the problem, but we're the ones who's wrapped up in flesh. A separate deity that we have to fight against every single day. We got to fight against our flesh and tell our flesh, no, I'm not giving in. But our flesh wants all of that stuff. That's the only reason why we're sinners.
That's why God put it in the Bible.
Okay, thank you for coming to the show tonight. We almost finished here. Let's keep it going.
Hold these in here. They don't eat my stuff here in your bang, motherfuckers. Why you eat my shit? Them dog cookies.
No, they not.
Them is dog cookies.
No, they not.
Petco.
What?
Them nasty. Here, hold these.
So my whole form tonight, my whole show for tonight was based on what it was sparked because of what this sister said. That's the only reason why I took y'all through that whole history, all them stories. I said all those things is because this thought was generated from listening to my sister right here, because the past will always affect the future. Men and women both alike, they cannot get out of the rules, the laws, of the principles, of the structures that God has already placed in this world. And if we don't align ourselves with what he already said, then we'll just be lost and we'll live the roughest life. But this is why, you know what I'm saying, when you look at our people and you look at the distress, you look at the situations that we be in, as far as in the nuclear family, our houses, how we look at our people, it all stems from somewhere. You got to check the root. You know what I'm saying? What is the source? Where did it come from?
That stem from a lot of shit that has to do with oppressing our people, right? These programs programmed the mindset, conditioned the mindset of her elders in her family. Little girl, her mama that can't choose right. Her elders, right? Programmed her mindset to believe marriage is no longer important. You can have a baby, and when you have a baby, you can raise it by yourself because you can get child support.
Now, how you gonna do all of that? Okay, you heard what she said. You can have a baby, but you don't need a man. A woman is already cursed to serve a man. Already before, when Adam and Eve was in the garden, it was 50-50. It was 50-50 off top. You know what I'm saying? But when Eve disobeyed God and she went against her husband and she went against God, she took that 1%. She knocked herself down to like 48%. A lot of my brothers will say 35, but she knocked herself down her percent off the top. So how, if a woman is already under a curse that affects all women. How can that woman get out of that curse? She cannot. She can only be compliant. Only.
You can get government cash assistance, you can get food stamps, you can get public housing, you can get things that will replace the man. You cannot argue with me that these women were successfully programmed on this. It was a motherfucking success. So now you have, before this...
But this is when the devil comes in. The devil came in to disrupt our communities and bring dysfunction through our women. That's where it started from. Women, drugs, power. That's where it came in. But it was always initiated attack on the black woman. You know what I'm saying? It had to be. You know what I'm saying? The devil will always, brother, the devil will always, in your relationship, the devil will always come after your woman. So you got to be united with her. Y'all have to be as one flesh for you to overtake and overconquer the devil. Only way, you know what I'm saying? The only way. It is already written that you will bruise his head with your heel. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're talking about. The power that God already gave you to conquer, to step on the serpent. You know what I'm saying? But y'all got to come together as one or it's not going to work.
Young girl, you have 2-3 generations of women that don't really see any value in men. Now let me go back even deeper because you're not educated, right? If you go back to us being slaves, when you look at things like so simple as understanding the Willie Lynch letter, the easiest way to control niggers on a plantation is to program the mind of the mother, the female. It starts with us. This is why we are the problem right now, because they targeted us first to be the problem, to then raise our children with the mindset that they programmed us with. So when you go all the way back to even slavery, us as the black women,
it goes back farther than that. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to Adam and Eve in the garden with a woman being cursed. You know what I'm saying? It goes all the way. Okay, she looking at the aspect from all the way to our grandparents back in the days of chattel slavery. But it goes way much more back in the past, more than that. It goes back to the very first people and what was told to those people.
We were targeted first because a programmed black female slave, a female nigger, she will raise the offspring to be everything you need him to be able to be a good slave and to comply and not to run off and not to get in these groups and try to overturn what the fuck we needed, because this was our property. So, because you don't know your history, let me bring it all up to speed, right? When they were trying to control us as slaves, they started with the black woman. So bitch, don't ask me why the fuck I'm holding us accountable first. Now you fast forward, when they went to the governmental programs, they started with the female first, because guess what? We will raise the babies up. Children, male and female. It shows you our power when it comes to family. They start with us because we're the ones that start to give the babies their first program, their attachment.
So just like in the Garden of Eden, who did the serpent went after? You know what I'm saying? He went after the woman, because it is written that the woman is the weaker vessel. That's why he went for temptation, to fall into temptation. Nothing changes through the courses of history. Nothing changes like that. So if it worked in the garden to get Adam and Eve kicked out the garden, to make sure that it's disruption inside of the black family, our women were attacked. Our women have always been attacked by the devil. Always. 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 Get that in your head, my brother, my king, my warriors out there. Our women have always, since the first woman, has always been attacked by the damn devil. So it doesn't change us in time. It don't change in time. Just like our sister is saying they went after the woman, it's no different.
Styles, their ways of thinking, what to stay away from, what to conform to, what to believe. It starts with motherfucking us. Y'all hoes can get off my page and stop mentioning a nigga when I'm knowing we're the reason why this shit is the way it is, and there are reasons behind why we're the reason, which I don't have a problem going into, but you hoes won't even accept that we're the fucking reason.
What if the first men on earth thought their women betrayed them because they did not understand pregnancy? They were exiled into bodies they did not understand. They knew loyalty, they knew protection, they knew fear, but they did not yet understand how life begins. Then the Watcher revealed the truth. Life was growing inside her, and the first miracle looked like the first betrayal. Was she chosen? Was she changed? Or had creation awakened inside her? Honey and the Drone.